So there was a show, this story's back from 2010. Again, it's one of those articles that I found at the time and I was like, that's interesting. And I bookmarked it, but I didn't really have any outlet for sharing this information. It just kind of stayed in my bookmarks for about 8 years, so now I can share this with you. There was a show back then called Ugly Betty about a young girl. I watched a couple episodes of Ugly Betty. That was pretty much my only experience with it. I did watch that other show, Jane the Virgin, but I think that might be a little racist, because the only thing those shows have in common is they have a Hispanic lead. So, but maybe it's a shared universe, and I just don't know about it. But anyway, so this guy, this actor who was on Ugly Betty, I don't think he was a regular on the show. This young man, one night he's sleeping in his bed, and God comes to him. And he goes, the young man says, "Is my life over?" And God's like, "Yes, your life is over." And then he's like, "I remembered going to the Mason Lodge earlier in the week, and a guy tried giving me something, and I wouldn't take it. I wouldn't take it from him. And then I was riding on the subway home, and everyone started talking about mothers and moms. And he says he felt like Neo from The Matrix. He felt powerful, and he could hear people's thoughts." Which I don't remember Neo being a telepath, but whatever. Maybe in those other two crappy movies. And then he hears him talking about moms and mothers. He goes home, and his mom's like, "Hey, can you go help me in the kitchen? I'm watching Ugly Betty." I don't know if she was doing that, but anyways, I'm watching Jane the Virgin. He goes into the kitchen, he looks in the pot to help her cook, and he sees that she's boiling chicken. And he thinks this is a satanic ritual. She's boiling these chickens as a sacrifice. So what does he do? Goes into his bedroom, lights some candles, grabs a dagger, grabs a 3-foot-long sword, walks back out into the living room, begins chopping at his mom. She's screaming. The neighbors call the police. He hears the police banging on the door. He's following her from room to room, slashing along the way. And he goes, I wanted to take my time killing her because I wanted her to make things right with God. And he also said that he knew God wouldn't let the police get into the house until he was done. And sure enough, that happened. The door came down after he had got done killing his mom. Now, I don't think it was because God was, put his shoulder against the door. He had a 3-foot-long sword. He was going to kill her when he wanted to kill her. Anyway, so he got arrested, obviously. And even in the last of the interview, the police interview, he was saying, well, she was a demon. And you don't understand that my culture believes in demons. So, this is what happened. She was possessed by a demon. I heard her voice change and all this stuff. I always think it's interesting because insanity is one of those interesting things where it preys on your belief system. If let's say me, I'll put myself in this situation. If I'm walking down the street and I see a little girl on the street corner wearing an all-white dress with long black hair, and she's like going, la, 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 la. She's kind of sitting there. My first inclination is going to be, that's a ghost. That's a ghost. My second inclination is going to be, I might be going crazy right now. Now, that's probably a bad example, because I'm sure little girls do stand out on the street corner and do that. But let's say, and she was floating a foot off the ground. So it's definitely not just like a young teenager. She's floating, a couple feet off the ground. My first inclination is going to be like, that's a ghost, because I believe in ghosts. I'm skeptical, but I believe in ghosts in general. My second inclination would be like, I'm crazy. I'm going crazy. Now, if I was walking down the street and I saw a shape-shifting reptilian look at me and stick his little forked tongue out at me, my first inclination is going to be, I'm crazy. My second inclination is going to be, I'm really crazy. Because I don't believe in shape-shifting reptilians. I don't believe that there's reptilians walking among us wearing business suits that can change shape. I'm not saying, I believe all that other stuff about aliens and stuff like that, but my first inclination would be like, I'm having some sort of mental breakdown because I don't believe in shape-shifting reptilians or gnomes or anything like that. Insanity preys on your belief system. He believed in demons. It was part of his culture. He said, we believe in demons. He believed in demons. So his insanity, he believes in demons and God, and the Freemasons are bad guys. The sword he had was a Freemason sword, and nobody knows how he got it either. Cops think he stole it. He says he didn't, but again, he's insane. But it's like Gozer from Ghostbusters, where you choose the form of your destructor. He believed in these hyper-religious imagery, and so when his mind began to break, it broke in that direction. So for me, it would be something like ghosts. Like gang stalking, I don't believe in gang stalking. So if I start looking around and I start seeing people kind of following me, my first inclination is going to be, someone must think that I owe them money. Somebody, for that would be, and then I would never go, oh no, it's the CIA trying to drive me crazy. I would think someone must have mistaken me for somebody. Someone must think I owe them money. That's assuming I'm observant enough even to notice people watching me. But people who are already paranoid, who believes that the government is constantly keeping track of everybody, and they start to lose their sanity, it'll break in that direction. So I think it's a tragic story. The mother died. He's in prison for the rest of his life. He obviously has a mental illness. Best case scenario is he's better now on medication, but then he has to live with the thought and those images of him, killing his mom with that sword, and then, just crazy. But I think that's the takeaway on that your belief systems can turn against you when your brain begins to turn against you. That was a clip from our daily podcast, Dead Rabbit Radio. Dead Rabbit Radio is available anywhere that you listen to podcasts. It's daily paranormal, conspiracy, and true crime news. If you want to hear the full episode that this clip came from, check the link below. Please like and subscribe. And hit that little bell, too. That does some magical stuff. Thanks, guys.